All right, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Thespian coming at you with another Sparking Zero vid, and in this video I'm going to teach you the best way to use the game's training mode. The game has been out for a while. We were kind of seeing what the current meta is before they do any balance changes. I'm going to show you what you should be doing in this game's training mode. As with every game, you will not progress, you will not get good unless you practice. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, I do want to point out before we start this game's training mode is ass. I'm sorry, that's the only way I can actually describe it. This training mode is very bare bones. If you look at any current fighting game from Granblue, Street Fighter, Tekken, their training modes, while not perfect, offer way more options, including move recordings, replay values. Overall, some of them just give you frame data, so you just know what you should and shouldn't be doing on your matches. So this game does not have any of that, which is a very bad thing, because this game has so many things that you should and shouldn't be doing. As I covered in my menu video, there's two different types of training modes. There's battle training and regular training. So what I want to focus on first is the battle training, and this is actually where you should be going for the most part. So what battle training does is it gives you a couple of different options to the game, and it goes from the basic rules of the game, 3 tiers: beginner, intermediate, advanced techniques, which goes from, again, basic moves, ki blast, supers. And it's here where you might be thinking, I already know all of this. But what it does, it actually gives you a pretty cool, I guess you could say, a little dummy exercise where it lets you practice some of these maneuvers. So for example, the biggest thing is obviously the counters, the different counters, perception, Z counter, all of that. So if we go to advanced and go to advanced counters, it gives you basically every type of counter in the game: perception, super perception, high speed evasion, super counter, all of that. And if you select them, it actually just gives you a little practice mode that's never ending. Like, you have to manually end it on your own. So here in this mode, it's teaching you how to use perception. So Piccolo is just gonna keep attacking you, and you're not gonna end until you get the actual counter. So let's go ahead and reset. And you see here, you mess up and you just keep resetting until you get it. Yeah, I messed up there too. So you see, it's telling you how to do it, and it's like an infinite loop. It's just teaching you what to do it. And if you time it correctly, you could even practice your Sonic Sway. And if you think you're done with this part, you just return back to the menu here, and it just goes down the list, and you'll know you've done it before because you get a check mark. So now we're gonna do super perception, and again, it's just gonna basically teach you just everything. And again, it's an infinite loop, so you're just gonna keep practicing. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's a good way to just practice your defense mechanics, because this game is all about its defense mechanics. You got to learn how to do all of these basically. Right now with the game, you can only really get 3 hits, and then you gotta actually lock in and do something. Then we go to high speed evasion, and this is crucial. This is where you actually gotta practice your timing, because the vanish timings are so tight, dude. It's actually insane. Like, I almost feel that this is like a rhythm game. So you can even do like little practices, like, okay, let me go to training mode before I start grinding rank. Let me do 10 of these perfect in a row without fail, and you'll get the timing down right. So this one basically works as intended, which is really good. And again, once you're done, you can just, again, return to training select and pick something else. So as like a warm-up that you see, you know, FPS players or, you know, other fighting game players, you usually start off with like casual mode, or you go to aim labs and train. I actually think this is a pretty good warm-up just to, you know, get the timings right before you jump into rank and start molding. Like, this is a really good stop. And I've been using it a lot now. I'm not good by any means, as y'all have seen, but I have noticed that my timing on like vanishes and the perceptions are getting better slowly but surely. So use these guys. Again, there's nothing wrong with like just learning the fundamentals over and over again, sticking them into your head. That way you know how to use everything that's available to you so you can win. Now, the second part of super training is the regular training mode. So training mode is just regular sandbox. You pick your stage, you pick your character, you know, the opponent. And this is where most people are going to go because with fighting games, we just go into the regular training mode. We don't necessarily go into the tutorial. But in this game, I feel like it's the opposite. So right now I got Trunks. That's one of the characters on my team. You're just here. You're just flying around. You can work on your combos, all of that. And again, you can just reset the position with L1 and option. Now, this is where I'm pretty disappointed with the training mode, but it does have some stuff that you can kind of use, albeit very scuffed, which is why I prefer the other training mode as like a warm-up. So here you have a couple different settings. You have explanation of controls, which is going to show you a summary of your character's moves, which is pretty cool if you don't know what all of them have, especially these two right here that use your key. So as you can see, Trunks has after image. It explains to you what it is and power up to the very limit, and obviously his supers. Then it gives you a breakdown of the different mechanics. So this is where I'm very disappointed, and as a fighting game player, like, this is so inexcusable. So in a regular fighting game, you get to choose settings like, okay, how much health will my opponent have? Or do they have infinite meter? Do they have auto regen? You can set up like wake up timings, a bunch of different block settings. We don't have that here. In gauge settings, we have normal and max. That's pretty much it for everything. So if I put everything, health gauge, key gauge, to max, I leave and, you know, I'm at max everything. And that's it. That's all you get for gauge settings. Then display settings. Display is another very important aspect. It shows you your inputs. If you're, you know, inputting everything correctly or not, it shows you on the screen. Here, the only thing it does is just hide the HUD. So, I mean, this is cool, I guess, if you're trying to like take specific screenshots, but again, really, really disappointing. And the last setting here is opponent settings. This is where you would have a bunch of different options that are very important, but no, you either have standstill, infinite guard, or you can set certain behaviors in the CPU. So if I leave this here, they're just going to focus on attacking me. So I'm just going to keep getting attacked. And as you can tell, there's no... It's random. They're just attacking me with anything. There's a couple more settings that actually kind of do really specific stuff, like defense strategy counters. The CPU will focus on guarding and exploiting their opponent's openings. So if I reset and I start doing this, it's not really working as intended. Like they're avoiding me, I guess. But that's pretty much it. Like these settings don't really work, which again, in this game where you can do so many things in terms of neutral, movement, and also just wake up options, it's really disappointing. If you're gonna use training mode, I truly recommend this to just be like just combo training, because a lot of these don't work as intended. And I know you can buy more strategies in the shop, but again, they don't really work. Like, they're not consistent, they're not reliable. What I recommend, guys, is get these timings down on defense, use battle training, go to training mode if you're just trying to, you know, figure out characters' combos and try out different things, but don't really rely on the opponent settings and anything else. Like, just stick to battle training for your timings. And the last thing I recommend in order for y'all to get good is tried and true player match. Just find some people that are your skill level. I think the best way to learn a fighting game is to play people at your skill level, just to get the basics down. and then you'll run into a lot of people that are going to be stronger than you, and you can kind of mimic what they're doing and kind of add that to your gameplay. And obviously you'll run into people weaker than you that you can kind of see what you're doing better than them and learn from that as well. These are my tips if you want to use the training modes the best way possible. Again, very disappointing that they're not better than they are. I truly hope that they add like an update in the near future, because training mode is so important, guys. With a lot of talks of trying to get this game into a competitive level, you need this. You can't just learn from, you know, watching YouTube or watching whatever. You actually need stable environment to actually try out what you're learning. Battle training, guys, just practice your timing as a good warm-up for all the counter timings, and I think that'll really improve y'all's game, especially if you're still lower level, not used to the timing of all the counters. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know what y'all think. Are you gonna use battle training or training mode? And if y'all have any personal tips on how to use the training mode functions better, or any other tips on getting better, definitely let me know in the comments, guys. I would love to read that, and I love to see, you know, y'all teaching other people how to get good, because that's the goal. We're all trying to get good. So that's it for this one, guys. I'll see y'all next one. Take care.